So I have this plethora of stuff here. It's really funny. I'm doing this episode today, Rituals for a Rich Life, and I went down a rabbit hole because I was so excited about this three-part series. I just wanted this to be a real good kickoff for the new year because everyone's in that mood of like, I'm going to do better and I'm going to be better. And everyone's like gaining that like, hoo ha hype right now. And when we have this hype and we're really trying to push this new version of us or this new sense of being, I'm here to remind you that it's not about reinventing yourself. It's not about becoming a new version of you. It's actually about being okay with who you are now. Who you are is good enough. If you're tired of the boring business coaching bullshit out there and the mindset woo that doesn't really work and just leaves you feeling even more lost in outer space, well, my Mystic SiStar, you have finally landed in the right place. Welcome to the Sorority with Jessica Mystic, the podcast where we ditch the brain shame and learn how to manage that creative, multi-passionate, magnificent mind of yours. That's right, I'm going to help you cash in on your creativity and chaos through mindfulness and creating cash habits that work while building the most beautiful and abundant life for yourself. With weekly integration activities and my proven manifestation methods, we are going to help you go from feeling unstable to becoming unstoppable in your life and business. I am so grateful to have you here, SiStar. In this community, we are going to rise and shine together. On that note, let's go make some magic. Who you are is good enough, as you are. Who you are as you are is good enough right now. You are worthy in this moment as you are right now. But in the energy of the new year, we're excited. So I don't want this to be where you get stuck in that. These are the things I need to fix about myself this year, or these are the things I need to fix in my business. Fuck fixing. Fuck fixing. Fuck making it work. We're all about figuring it out. If anything, we're going to fuck around and find out. We're in the energy of exploration. We're in the energy of exploring new opportunities and just playing. I want you to play again. Everyone is so goddamn serious all the time. Like, just because you're an adult doesn't mean you need to be so serious. You don't need to be miserable. You don't need to be so distraught over being perfect and being better. I mean, the pursuit of self-betterment is vital. It is. But it doesn't mean you need to be like fucking, if you feel like you're a 5, you don't need to be pushing yourself to be a 99. You know what I mean? Like consistent growth. If you're a 5 and you get to a 6, awesome. If you're a 57 and you get to a 70, awesome. I don't care where you're at or where you want to go. Progression is progression, and we all progress at different levels. So in this first episode, Rituals for a Rich Life, it's really about developing consistent cash habits. But you can't develop a consistent cash habit if you haven't made the effort to put these habits and rituals in place for yourself. So like we are starting from the beginning, my friends. Like this is from the ground up. All right. Like we're getting into building rituals that will establish your foundation as who you are, defining who you are in this moment, where you're going, who you want to be, who you are becoming, like in your vision. In your big vision, in your big dream, when you close your eyes and you see your future self who has achieved these goals, has unlocked these achievements on your list, when you've crossed all the shit off and you've gotten everything you wanted that you've written down and aspired to, who are you? How does that feel? What are you wearing? Where are you going? What are you doing right now? That it's not about reinventing yourself. It's about aligning where you're at now and how you feel now to how you're going to feel then. It's all about getting your shit in alignment. Because, like, just like when the wheels are out of alignment in your car and you start getting all wonky and it takes you all a little off the path, that's what happens with us. When the mechanics are off, shit doesn't run right. So your first ritual for rich life is getting intentional. It's choosing growth over fear. That's what it is. First ritual is choosing growth over fear. So getting intentional and setting up how you can show up consistently. I guess you would say it's intention setting. That's your first ritual. Intention setting. Setting intentions is your first ritual. Choosing growth over fear really all just comes down to intention. It's a practice, it's a discipline, it's a devotion, it's a dedication. This 3-part series is designed for you to go deeper into the fundamentals of who you are and how you show up for yourself. Because how you show up for yourself right now is how you're going to show up consistently in your business and in your life. And if that shit's out of whack, it's just always going to be a mess. There's chaos that surrounds us continuously. There is chaos in our mind. We are always creating, consuming, and we're also constantly judging, recreating, refining, redoing. And none of that matters unless we have the intention behind the actions we're taking. Without setting our intention, our actions are meaningless. They're just all fucking over the place. They're just mayhem, absolute mayhem. So let's start by getting clear. Setting your intention to achieve your desires, no matter what, being in alignment with that all in energy, you have that in you. That's your constant drive. That's why this shit never turns off. But we need to manage it. And in order to manage it, we need to get consistent about managing our mania and mayhem. We can't just sit there and assume it's going to all just work for us. Like, we multitask all the time. And it's going to happen. I'm not shaming multitasking. Like, that's just how we work. But we want to make sure that we set ourselves up. We set the intention with our mind. We set the intention with our energy. We set the intentions with our goal setting, with our money, with our relationships, with our conversations. The way that we set intentions and how we show up and move forward. Intention doesn't mean shit if it doesn't align with action. We can all have the best of intentions. We can all feel like even right now, as I'm talking, if you're on YouTube, you're going to see me sitting on my floor talking with my headphones. I've got shit scattered around me. I'm holding my phone and recording part of this at the same time because my intention is to make the most of the time that I have. And I've made my multitasking work for me. So right now I'm holding my phone. I just push record in my hand and I'm recording from another angle while I'm recording the video for YouTube while I have my mic plugged in. But my intention here is to create content for you to consume that you can also use. So by having these different methods all plugged in and all hooked up around me, I had to sit on the floor today because I had to be intentional about remaining grounded in this moment, in this situation, in this message, because I can ramble. I definitely have the gift of gab. I can ramble and ramble and ramble and like we can go around in circle. It's just a natural talent. I mean, it's just so many voices in my head. The one coming out my mouth is just a continuation of all of them, one after another, right? So I had to get intentional and actually get my Post-it notes all written out. And then I've got pieces of paper written out. And then I've got some notebooks and lessons that I had written out. I've got all stuff here. Got my planner. The only thing I didn't do was light a candle, which I totally meant to do because I found the lighter and then I forgot to grab the candle. But that's okay. The intention's still here and I'm not going to get distracted because my intention is grounded into this moment, giving you this lesson right now. So how do we do our intention setting so that we can show up consistently? So we can make this, I like the word ritual because rituals are sacred. Rituals are sacred in setting the intention of how we live our lives and our devotion. And our devotion to our dream is what makes anything possible. Because without devotion, you're just lost, really. Like even in terms of like religion or faith, if you have a devotion to a faith or a religion or a god or a goddess or whomever or whatever, you are devoted, you are consistently anchoring into that belief, into that energy, into that faith. Now, if you don't believe in anything, that's okay too. You're devoted to that belief. Our beliefs outline what's our possibilities. Our beliefs outline our opportunities. Life is a dream. So be devoted to dreaming. Otherwise, you're just going to turn that shit into a nightmare. So how do we do this? Okay, Jessica, get to the point. Well, yeah, we're getting there. I need you to understand how important it is. Without these rituals, you're going to get stuck. Without having that devotion, you're just going to fall into that that overstimulated or overwhelmed that leads to procrastination. And procrastination is just one of the most popular forms of self-sabotage. And we do it because we feel like if we procrastinate, we're giving ourselves space so we can overanalyze, because we like to overanalyze as a habit of trying to say we're going to make it perfect, as a habit of saying that we need to be good enough because we don't want to show up as if we're not good enough. We don't want to fuck up. But you need to start showing time respect, because time does exist, whether or not you believe it's a construct or whatever. Time and existence in the present moment is fleeting. So we need to make the most of the time that we have by being intentional with how we spend that time. This is exactly why I'm doing the time hacking masterclass in January. I mean, it's January right now while you're listening to this, but this is why I have this masterclass coming up on the 22nd. If you're not in it, I do encourage you to head over. There'll be a link in the show notes, or you go to my link in bio on Instagram. You can sign up for the time hacking masterclass. It's totally free. We're going to get into that. And that's even more dedicated ways that you can show up intentionally and make the most of your time and schedule. So you can make time to make more money and stop messing around. But today's lesson's more than just time hacking. This is really getting deep into choosing growth over fear. So fear just comes from being uncertain, right? When you're an overachiever and you're creative and you're a perfectionist, and you want to make all the things, but you don't want to make janky ass things. You want everything to be beautiful and wonderful. You want to make all the things that everyone wants, because if someone wants it, then you're of value. It's a lot of pressure to put on yourself. Like, why the fuck do we do that? It's really hard to show up that way. So I want you to take a moment and I want you to anchor into the fact that right now, as you are, you're fucking awesome. Your intention is to be completely authentic and honest with who you are in this moment and how you can show up right now. I want you to expect and enjoy the unexpected. I want you to find humor. I want you to live in the moment. I want your time spent enjoying yourself, because that time is never wasted. And you're only going to enjoy yourself if you're anchored into what you truly believe that you're doing, into what you want going forward. Without this persistence to push through these blocks and fight the the need almost to push things off and procrastinate or find excuses, perseverance even. Without perseverance, this is where we get stuck and then eventually smothered, and then we extinguish that flame. That's what the burnout is, when we suppress that spark for too long. So lean into it. Lean into the possibility. It's a dance. Don't be afraid to get silly. Your intention should be to play. We need to start getting strategic about how we simplify our next steps to success. That is what intention setting is about. And everyone's looking for the ultimate strategy. Well, the strategy is to set the fucking intention to simplify your steps to success, step by step. Everyone wants a step-by-step process, so start breaking it down and creating a step-by-step process for yourself. These systems are the lifeline to your life and business. Without these systems, you have no way of establishing ease or flow and managing your energy, let alone your crazy-ass brain. This ease is what's going to create space for expansion. And that expansion is where you're going to find that growth. That is your path to greatness. Holding space can be really hard at times, because when we have this expansion and things get bigger, we have to hold space for others, whether it's for more clients because you've expanded your business, whether it's for staff that you've hired, whether you need to hold more space for yourself because you're going through a healing time and you're in a healing journey, because we're always healing. No one talks about that shit, but you're setting intentions to deal with yourself and your emotions as they come up, as you grow and expand and scale in your business, is vital. If you can't take care of you, newsflash, my dear, you are your business. Without you, your business doesn't exist. You're the visionary. You're the one who's doing this. You're the one with the dream. You're the one with the goals. You're the one with the life purpose and the mission that you're here to fulfill. You're the one that's here acting out of service. So when you're feeling afraid and you're feeling uncertain and you're trying to set these intentions and you're wobbling and wavering on what to do next, I want you to think of this, because uncertainty is what leaves space for new opportunities. Uncertainty is exactly what you're expanding into. Saying or feeling like you know it all, that's the blinders on. You're going to be missing something. It's like when you're dealing with your kids and they fucking know everything, but they can't get their goddamn shoe on because it's just the laces aren't loosened enough or they haven't opened the Velcro, but they know everything, but they can't ram their foot in there. You need to grant yourself the opportunity, the space to look around and be like, how can I make this easier? How can I make space to make this shoe fit? Unless you're Cinderella with a glass slipper. Let's go squirrel here for a second. If you're Cinderella with the glass slipper situation, well, if you lifted your head up and looked around, maybe someone would have a bright idea to open a shoe store that made shoes that weren't made of glass that would fit her foot better. Like there's always a solution and a next level. We're always looking, constantly searching and looking for new, better ways and easier ways to do something. We love easy. We love easy. We really do. But yet we make things so much harder on ourselves because we're so busy looking for an easy way out. We don't actually take the action with the intention to make our lives easier. See what I'm saying? This is starting to kind of come together. Do you see where you're falling into these old habits, trying to find these shortcuts without actually doing the work to set your own intentions? So when we get deep into this, like, I think of how when I looked at my business, when I originally was setting intentions on why I wanted to grow, not just one, but two businesses, even at the same time. What's the intention there? Well, the immediate thing that would come to mind is, well, I want to grow an empire. I want to scale my empire. Well, why? I want you to think of a 3-year-old or 2-year-old, and they're just like, well, why? Well, why? I want that to be the voice in your head. Let your inner child come out and question everything that you're doing, not out of ego, doubt, and fear. Don't have like that nagging mom or whatever comes into your head. I mean, I love my mom. Usually when she's in my head, she's not nagging me, but I want you to have that voice in your head turn into a child's voice instead of that one that's like, oh, you're stupid. Oh, you're wasting your money. Oh, you're not doing well enough. Why can't you just have a regular job? Why can't you just do one thing? So shut that bitch up for a second and let your child speak up and just start asking why. Because that's where you're going to get to the root of your intentions and where you need to set motion going forward. So why do I want to scale my empire? Well, I want more money. That's usually the first thing people say. Why do you want more money? Well, I want financial freedom. Okay. We see this in content all the time. I want financial freedom. Why? Well, I want to retire my husband. So these are the things you see. Let's get deeper. I want you to get deeper into this. What does it mean to scale your empire, to make more money, to get financial freedom, what is it about? Well, isn't it about having more time with your family, having more freedom and flexibility to choose what you want to do in that time, to choose how you want to live your life, to have options in your day, to not have to ask permission to live, permission to explore, permission to have joy? Aren't we all just control freaks that want to control our lives and existence? Well, the good news is that you are in the driver's seat and you can control your life and existence. You just have to actually choose to do so with intention in order to make that happen. So let's get into it here a little bit deeper. Let's get a little bit deeper here. So what does that mean, having more time with your family and enjoying your life, making more memories, helping your children thrive because they have more time with their parents? Not that children without their parents don't thrive, just depends. I like to believe that my children will benefit from having more memories with me. So I'm going to anchor into that. I like to believe that everything that I've suffered in life to achieve where I am now and to do all this was worth it. I want to live my healthiest and wealthiest life. Like, don't we deserve that? Don't you deserve to live your healthiest and wealthiest life? Don't you deserve to feel good? Don't you deserve to have fun? When your children grow up and they think of you, don't you deserve to be the first one that comes to mind with a smile on their face? Why not? I want more money so I can have more experiences. Why do I want more experiences? Because I want this life to be lived. When I found out my appendix was cancerous 4 months postpartum after having my daughter, it hit me hard when I realized, like, I'm lucky to be older. I'm lucky to age. I'm lucky to explore this world and to see my children grow up. So why wouldn't I want to do everything I possibly could to make all those memories with them? That's my why. I want to leave this world better than I found it. That's an intention that was drilled into me also by my parents and being in the military. And my mom and dad always said, when you leave a place, you leave it better than you found it. Well, that's how I feel as a starseed in this existence on this planet. That's my fucking purpose. My purpose is to be here and make the world a better place by making people choose to live a better life, to create that better life for themselves. See how it's so much deeper than just, I want to grow my business and I want to make more money? Money is energy. The amount of money you want to make doesn't matter. It's what you're doing with it. And what you're doing with it, guess what? That's the intention. What's the intention in having this money? I want to be able to have galas. I want to be able to donate to charities. I want to help less fortunate. I want to create opportunities for people to live a better life. I'm so sick of the anger and the hate and the drama and the arguing. If I can just make one other person's life better, and they can make another person's life better because they're feeling better. You see how there's a chain reaction? So the more impact I can make in helping people lead a better life for themselves, the better the world will be. It will happen that way. That's the only way it will happen. If we choose to create better lives for ourselves, to create better lives and interactions and relationships with others, to inspire others to do the same, it's contagious. Just like any negative connotation or disease is contagious, so is happiness. So is laughter. Like when a kid is laughing their ass off, can you not help but laugh with them? Joy is contagious too. Just start tuning into that and make that the intention to live your life with joy, to seek joy, to be fulfilled in what you do. If you're not feeling fulfilled right now, what can you do today to make your today a little bit better? What can you do to make a step towards feeling more fulfilled in your life? Is it signing up for a new course? Is it learning a new skill? Is it painting your walls? Is it trying something new? I don't know. What is it? What is the intention that you need to set so you can feel more fulfilled today? I really want you to anchor in and ask yourself that. That's what you need to invest in. You need to invest in your own time and energy, your own knowledge, investing in a higher standard of who you want to be and how you want to live your life. Now, high standards are tricky because we can judge ourselves and put ourselves down real quick. They're not meant to be pass or fail moments. These standards are just the way you're showing up. If these standards aren't being met, then that's not what you're here for. Just move past it. Keep going. Own your mission. Own your timeline. Own your intentions. When we really lean into this expansiveness and create this path to greatness, this is where we find that space to play, to roam, to explore. And the more expansiveness you have, the more space you have to play. Think of like when you have a really tiny backyard, and like if you're in an apartment building or a condo, you don't even have a fucking yard. You got to go find space, right? Like who doesn't like having space? I have this giant 4-level split. Like, yeah, I could have stayed in my 2-story bungalow. I could have stayed in an apartment or condo. I don't like living in a condo. I cannot stand condo life. I don't like everything all in my one space. I like space. I like rooms dedicated to different energies and different spaces. This office isn't even fully done yet. It was a playroom, but I needed a space where I could have a sacred space with the intention of this is the space where I can show up to create. This is a space where I get to show up, and this is the space I make my money. This is the space where I connect. This is the space where I feel myself in this house. Because everywhere else in this house, I'm a wife, I'm a mother. There's usually shit everywhere because I've got a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old. So it's just, I'm a walking Roomba. But in this space, if there's a mess in this space, it's with intent. Like all these notebooks and post-it notes on my floor right now are with purpose. The intention is so that I don't forget shit and I can show up as my best self, staying anchored on my nice fuzzy carpet, so that I can be present in this moment. Spaces have a sacred energy, which is where, think of like your altar, right? If you have a ritual and you're performing it at an altar, it's the same idea. This space is my altar and my ritual is how I'm showing up with my intention today. People put too much behind words where they like box themselves in and define and label what every little thing is. your space is just for you, whether that space is your car. Like sometimes I do van videos for content because when I drop the kids off and I have my walk and I'm sitting there, in that moment, it's quiet. There's no one else around because all the kids have gone into the school. Everyone's gone to work. There's not a lot of people on the street. There's no distractions. There's nothing to sidetrack me. I'm just sitting in my car. So I can turn on my video, film a video, and then my intention, my non-negotiable for that day has been met. I get really intentional about how I'm using my space in that moment. And I allow myself space because I know with my mind, I have shiny object syndrome. I like to squirrel. I get distracted. So if I grant myself space between tasks, I don't get as stressed and feel as pressed for time when I go over a mark. We do our best to lead ourselves with intention. So when I get into these time hacking, for example, when we talk about time and scheduling, leaving space is so important, but you can't have space if you're just constantly surviving your schedule. Like for real, it doesn't work. It's really fucking hard. So I want you to get really intentional with how you're finding space, because that space is going to grant you the simplicity for you to start getting more strategic with how you show up with your energy each and every day. Simple things like we talk rituals. If you want like me to sit here and jot form a few things that you can start out with your morning routine. Wake up a little bit earlier. If you have young kids, I know it's super hard because we don't get a lot of sleep. And sometimes you'll get some sleep. Sometimes you'll be thriving off a fucking nap that you had in the middle of the night. But even if you only had a nap, decide, wake up earlier. If you can't get up an hour earlier, get up 10 minutes earlier. Enough time for you to have a shower by yourself, to go poop by yourself. Like, give yourself space to sit and have a coffee in silence for 10 minutes before you have to deal with everyone else's shit. And if you didn't get that space because they were up at 4:00 and didn't go back to sleep till 6:15, but then your daughter woke up at 6:30 and then you had to just start your day anyway, then give yourself that space. Once you've dropped the kids off at daycare or at school and you go back to your van, give yourself 15 minutes. Put a little snack in your bag. Sometimes I'll put like fruit snacks or one of my chocolate Go Macro bars. I really like those. And I'll just sit and I'll eat my snack in silence in that space, giving yourself space to reset, to take those deep breaths. So I want it to be that simple. I don't want to sit here and tell you to go through a whole morning routine, because people get kind of caught up in trying to design this perfect morning routine. Your mornings are going to look different every single day, but have the intention of how you want to start your day and how you're going to find space. And if you can just start there with this episode that we've gone through, number 1, Rituals for a Rich Life. If you can just start by finding space, getting intentional, and how you set up your time and your day and your space so that you can show up consistently, having that space, that's where you can anchor into that all-in energy. That's where you can make the most out of your day, out of your time, out of your energy, out of your mental capacity to improve and achieve without burning out. I love you. Much love. Many blessings. And know that you're worth taking that space for yourself. And I'll see you in episode 2. If you love this podcast, be sure to follow, rate, or even give our sorority a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. While you're at it, you can even subscribe to the YouTube channel. Better yet, share this episode with your BFF or another business bestie. Not only will you put a huge smile on my face and fill my soul with pure joy, but you're also going to help show others that there's real value here for them too. Not to mention help build our community. Much love, many blessings, and shine on, SiStar.